And now, with full confirmation into what we have for the Dark Triad's magic, we have all 6 known types of magic for them, and now we can really kind of like gauge into how this is really going to be looking. And I think with Xenon, it set up also the return for another character, which I think is good. But as it were, they're just like talking essentially of everything that they know, everything that just went down, and you have Nock telling them just all the magics that the Dark Triad has. Dante has gravity and body magic, Bonica with curse warding and blood magic. Then you have Xenon with spatial and bone magic. Now, people have been wondering exactly the description of what Xenons would be. I figured it would just be some form of spatial magic, maybe something a little higher like dimensional magic, like maybe he has his own kind of room in his portals that he has, like maybe his own little zone. I think that would be pretty cool, but I mean, spatial magic, even just as spatial magic, it's not like that's bad. Spatial magic, even with other characters already having it, doesn't mean anything. It's still a really good ability, and then combined with his bones, he's able just to create portals and shoot bones through them, because all of their magic seem to have to stem from their body, at least originate from them, and then spread out in order to use it as they're going. Dante's is different because he's just straight manipulating his body. Vonica can manipulate her own blood, and with Xenon, his bones. Like when we saw earlier, like some of them go into the ground, and it looks like they just kind of like extend out like weeds, like roots, and just keeps getting bigger, and then constantly just overtaking his opponents. I think that's really cool. I think the facial magic most series it would automatically sound amazing, but when you have a lot of facial mages already in the series, it's easy to kind of like see that as not as big as it really is. Like spatial magic is still really impressive. It's still a really impressive ability that he has. Not like it's just some throwaway thing, but as it is, like now we have the idea of what they're all going to be like, and with the Golden Dawn really kind of like set up, wanting revenge against Xenon, primarily with Yuno. I think that the spatial magic is going to mean that Langris could come back, because even if Langris is definitely not going to have the level of spatial magic that Xenon has. Like I imagine that Xenon's is going to be just all around way faster, probably can open more portals and do a lot more just in general. I feel like a lot of people can kind of predict that just given his position, but I think he can still, contend with it to a degree. I think he still should be able to contend with it to a degree and be able to counteract some of his abilities, because I see it more of like groups fighting the Dark Triad near the end. Like I think it'll be members of the Black Bulls against Dante, primarily Austin Yami, in a rematch. But with Xenon, the Golden Dawn, I mean, really, when it comes to the enemy of the Golden Dawn, there's there's nobody else really set up for Xenon to have as a primary opponent, because Yuno already is connected to him with his backstory, but also with recent events, it would make sense why the Golden Dawn would want to seek revenge. And I mean, they already have like pretty strong potential going against him, especially with trying to remember her name, Latoile. I'm trying to remember the Compass girl. If she can get her magic strong enough just to kind of like contend with some of Xenon's attacks, I'm just trying to think of like a large scale fight with them and how it would go. Like her compass should be able to redirect some of his bones and probably set up for like, if we get William back and then him and Yuno against Xenon primarily. But there's definitely some potential there. We just gotta see how far they can climb within the next couple months in order to contend with them. I mean, obviously, Austin, are going to be main ones going up there, as well as but Doc is just talking about like gathering people for their chances of winning, trying to get their best position, and just essentially creating the best group in order to storm the Spade and go after them. And Jack just like, of course we're gonna want the king or the captains. Almost said the kings. The captains to go after them to be in this group. I don't think all the captains should go. I think some of the captains should stay. Out of the ones that should stay, I definitely think Fuego Leon should stay. I think that he's definitely one of the ones that would make for a really great, ground force back and stay in the Clover Kingdom, because they're gonna have some people stick around to defend the place in case the Dark Triad decides to attack again. Because who knows exactly what they can do, and especially with Xenon, the fact that Xenon has spatial magic means that at any time he could portal himself in and start attacking. And so they're gonna have to keep people back and just always prepared. And Fuego Leon is just, in my opinion, the best spot, because not only is he captain level already, but I think with Spirit Dive, if he ends up learning Spirit Dive, he'll be enough to be able to contend with Xenon, as well as I think he's the best spot for the next Wizard King, so it would make sense for him to kind of stick around and handle Julius and stuff. But you know, really wants to go. Really wants to participate in all this. I get it. I understand. Like, even if he has the potential. I think everyone knows he has the potential. It's just that from their perspective, you have to understand, like with Asta has a devil and anti-magic. So even if Asta isn't as powerful, they know of his ability and how useful his ability is. And you have this guy being like, I'm gonna help him master this power so we can, overtake the devils. From Yuno's side, they don't know the full extent of Yuno's like potential, I don't think. So when they look at Yuno, they just see some high, prodigy kid who got completely overwhelmed, but he doesn't have anything that can add to the situation, like a devil and anti-magic, obviously. So it's really coming down to Yuno's determination. And when he's like talking about them, and he's like saying how before he ended up passing out, like he it reveals that Ralph told him that he was, a former prince of the Spade Kingdom. Obviously, people are going to be a little out by that. So, like Nozel, I understand, like that makes sense why his magic is of royal quality. How much like potential and how much skill he has makes sense. Obviously, if he's part of some upper bloodline, that he would have like magic that would go with that. I think anyone see that and be like, yeah, makes sense. But after that point, he's explaining that before he passed out after getting attacked by Xenon, that William still fought for them. So I think that's actually a really good thing to just note towards the chapter, is the fact that a lot of people thought that Yuno was just remembering something, but I honestly never really thought about in the panel. It looks like Kirish or just members of the Golden Dawn are being grabbed by his branches and his magic. So it really just means like he got up. It wasn't that he's remembering something that happened beforehand. It's just that William got back up, tried to contend with Xenon some more, and was able to get off that healing spell that saved half of the Golden Dawn. And I understand Yuno's drive when it comes to the Golden Dawn, and him like really trying just to kind of like stick with the big hope for them, but it's him saying that the Golden Dawn is the strongest brigade. Absolutely not. The Black Bulls have proven that they're stronger. I mean, really, the Golden Dawn has the fact that they're way more. Oh, what do I want to say? They're way more contained. Obviously, the Black Bulls cause a lot of they cause a lot of ruckus when they go out and do stuff, and they're all really weird. So they tend to create their own issues while they're solving a problem, and the Golden Dawn doesn't have that. So they just have more of the kind of professional demeanor about them. That's pretty much the reason why they're ahead in stars and stuff. But if it wasn't for taking personalities into account and how they just operate, obviously the Black Bulls would be on top. But there was noting from Jack talking about like his magic, and you see Belle is like stockpiling up mana. I'm guessing she's just trying really hard to connect further into in just the natural mana around him. One thing that I really did note in the chapter, the way that she talked to Jack, I was like, at first I was like, oh man, Jack's getting told like to shut up by this spirit. He's getting barked at by her. But then I realized like the thing about the great spirits is like she is probably the most qualified person in the room to kind of like look down on anyone there, because like even though Belle is not in like she's not probably in the even close to like the peak that she's been. I think anybody can kind of like guess that throughout history, there's probably been, way more powerful people currently, or that way more powerful people that had her than current Yuno. So she was probably like a more advanced stage of her power, kind of like as we've seen like a very mature looking Undine or like a larger salamander. And then when you look at like Belle is bigger than when first got her. So I think it's just very obvious that the spirits kind of like mature and get and change and get bigger depending on the person they're linked with. So the fact that they're the great spirits and some of the hype around them, it would make sense that like at some point in her life, like I think if she's gone through all these extremely powerful wizards and then now is with Yuno, she probably has the full confidence in knowing how powerful Yuno can become, and just given her level, her age, the amount of like connection she has just to mana in general, the fact she is a great spirit and has like witnessed all these powerful people throughout history, she's probably the most qualified person in that room to talk down to anybody there. It just makes sense. She's, as an ancient spirit, she has the full capability of like looking down on any of them. I mean, they can talk shit back because like her current power output with like Yuno's at that time state, but obviously like while her and Yuno are gonna just keep getting more powerful, and her knowledge, I think, of people that she can kind of like look at and then compare to Yuno, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if she ends up revealing like Yuno has the highest potential of anybody she's ever been linked with or something, but at this point, like, there's still some good stuff. Like, I really liked seeing Asta react to this and just be happy. So even though it doesn't really matter if he's a Spade Prince or what, he's still, he's still his friend. I like that. Looking a little grumpy in that picture though, while Asta's like really just happy and talking about how they're gonna beat the Dark Triad and rescue the captains. He looks grumpy. I don't like that. I generally don't like looking that distraught and angry while in interaction with Asta, because he's supposed to be like the one guy that he can kind of relax around and just be happy to compete against. He just looks upset, and I get why he's upset, but I'm like, around Asta though, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone really talk about that. I might have to bring that up with some of the other Black Clover I regularly interact. But other than that, they're like talking about how besides everything that just went on with Xenon and Dante, that the last one, Vonica had attacked the Heart Kingdom. Asta realizing what happened, and then you get back and you see Noelle. Noelle is fine, and I'm guessing that the flower bed looking thing that she's laying on means that Mimosa is fine. I am curious to know if anybody didn't make it. I am hoping that all of the main cast members did, because it would be really weird to have them all advance and to give them all these moments and really kind of just show their growth just to kill them off. Like, it makes sense of like characters that you're not gonna kind of like bolster up as big key players and like up and comers, but it would be really weird to kill them off with after everything that we went through. But now Noelle is awake and she was rescued by the elves, which is really cool to see them back in. Like, and then they've got their marks back, so I'm guessing that they've grown more powerful, and we're gonna get to see now them involved in this war. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people have been really waiting for, is seeing how the elves are going to play into things, because it would have been weird for them to not participate in this arc. It would have been really weird for them not to have a role in fighting back against the Spade, because I think all the other kind of factions are gonna have to come together in order to do Spade. Like, you've already got the Heart and the Clover. I think they're gonna have to get the remaining people of the Diamond Kingdom. I think they're gonna have to get the witches to join the side, and I'm kind of curious if they're gonna need to get the into the Land of the Sun where Yami's from. I don't know if they will, but it would make sense, because like when it came to the Elf Resurrection, it was specifically on the Clover Kingdom. We don't know exactly how far Zagrid would have spread out, but when it came to the elves were just focusing on the Clover Kingdom, retaking their homeland. But the Dark Triad is going to target the whole world. So anybody really good that they kind of like explain the situation to is gonna want to join. They're gonna want to join up to help defend humanity and the world and defeat the Spade. So we got a lot really like to ride on coming up. I can't wait to see like what's next. I think that the opening to the Spade War was really good and how it kind of just built up power level increase everything, but it just they failed on all fronts, and now they're in a race against Armageddon, which again really cool. I can't wait to see where this all leads to in the future. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend the like button and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.